it it is difficult, especially I remember the first time I went abroad, and it's new and it's not familiar, and so along with that, there is a level of fear, and
Right.
so you talked about that. Actually, you were giving a commencement speech to a group of college students several years ago, and you spoke quite candidly about how much fear there is in our society today. And you
Hmm.
told those students that fear can stifle one's ability to be compassionate. In
Yeah.
fact, you repeated it more than once. You said to those students, don't be afraid. And,
Right.
you know, you sounded a little like those angels instructing the shepherds on Christmas, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. I've been thinking about that lately, Tammy, in a more, even a more spiritual sense. Now, first of all, I would never encourage anybody to take any risks. I don't take risks when I'm traveling. But you need to recognize that, um, well, first of all, when I grew up, people said bon voyage. They didn't say have a safe trip. And statistically, it is safer to leave home than it is to stay home. If you really are going to, split hairs and wonder what is safe. So there's nothing dangerous about traveling, but I long for the days when people would say bon voyage again instead of have a safe trip. If somebody tells me have a safe trip, I'm inclined to say, well, you have a safe stay at home because where I'm going is safer than where you're staying. But I think one thing might be have a safe trip. Well, we risk upsetting our norms when we travel. And maybe part of the danger of traveling is we recognize that we recognize our ethnocentricity. We recognize our how we're struggling, how we're needy. And when we travel, we recognize there's more to life than increasing its speed. When we travel, we realize that suffering across the sea is just as real as suffering across the street. When we travel, we realize why Thomas Jefferson wrote, travel makes a person wiser if less happy. When we travel, we realize that we've been duped. I'll never forget the first time I went down to Central America a long time ago. I went on a political trip. I went down there to learn about economic justice in Central America. And my dad, at the airport, my dad, the last thing he said was, "Son, don't be duped." Now, what did he mean? Don't be duped. He didn't want me to drink the Kool-Aid of those economic justice causes, that liberation theology action. And he didn't want me to recognize the truth down there. And he was thinking I would be duped if I did. It's scary to get out of your norm and to realize maybe we're not the center. Maybe this is not, maybe Jesus is not a white guy who speaks English,
My Lord.
I I love that. And that takes a little courage sometimes.